Hi guys, so for this tutorial I'm going to go completely off the cuff and we're just going to see basically what happens in my bid to try and recreate some of this glitch photography. As you can see, glitch photography is based on kind of like computer glitches. They've done it for various different purposes. Some can do it for the sake of just wanting to kind of recreate it in terms of style and how it looks. Some people, such as David Sauder, for instance, have claimed that they are doing it because our memories are similar like to a computer memory and that it can become corrupt and that we can lose information over a period of time. Here we go. So here's an example. It's not necessarily restricted to black and white or color. It is very, very random. And often detail will be obscured in a lot of cases. Movement will be achieved. So let's just absolutely just go for this. Let's just see what happens. So this is an example of one that I did previously. It's a little tame for my liking, but as you can see, I've tried to recreate some of the layered effects, some of the movement. I've even got a little error message in there that I screenshotted when I deliberately enforced an error on my script. And we've got a combination of kind of like pixelated and clear and stretched imagery. So let's just see what I can do. Now, to do this, I've decided to use some previous images from tutorials that have been in this series in a bid to kind of like just combine them and just see what happens really. So as a base, I have decided to use, let's use this one. I'm going to completely use this one at random. So here we go. Now, the basis of glitch photography, in my opinion, is that it uses selection techniques to kind of like to isolate things and to maybe increase the kind of like the size or whatever of them. So what I kind of like to do sometimes is to just get like the rectangular marquee, just stretch it out, copy and paste it, and transform it, and then just move it about. And if you do this a few times, what you end up with is a little bit of feeling of movement, very much like the multiple exposure work that we saw before. You can also, drag this down a little bit as well and get a bit of a different effect there. And that looks already quite interesting, to be honest. I like to flatten my image as I go as well, just randomly, and that way I can kind of like isolate the individual channels and kind of see how things are looking. So let's just see. There's my green, blue, red, etc. So as you can see, like you can get different results by looking at these two. What I might do is I might use these as overlays. So I may print screen what I've got here randomly as well. And then I'm gonna go to the normal channel. I'm gonna go to, and then I'm just gonna paste that in. I might just select, part of it. Delete the rest. Didn't mean to get that, but never mind. I'm going to use this as a bit of an overlay, I think. I may turn down the opacity, just like in my multiple exposure videos. And as you can see, we've got something that's already looking a little bit glitchy. I kind of like it. Quite happy with that so far. One of the big things about this is kind of like at which point do you kind of start to keep things as they are and leave things. It is just random. I'll be honest, like you might just want to screenshot things as you go and just kind of see what you think about that. I honestly, can't really give you any guidance there. Just when you kind of feel that it looks kind of right, just go for it. Yeah, so I'm going to keep playing around. And just watch as I go. I might explain, the odd technique that I might use here and there, but nothing too much, okay? So I'm selecting everything that's on that layer, and I am control C'ing things, I am control V'ing things. That means I'm going to get an exact replica of what I just had. Okay, I may opt to reduce opacity and things. But what you can do sometimes as a way of also mixing around with the colour, you can go to Image, Adjustments, Invert. That's not something that I've shown you before, and it quite literally flips things to the opposite colours that it would find on the colour wheel. Colour wheel, let's just give you another heads up on that. That's the American spelling. Yeah, as you can see, all the oranges will have been flipped to blue, all the purples would have been flipped to yellow, all the greens would have been flipped to red, etc. So it's just like when you invert the colours, it will just create the opposite colours that it will see on there. Similar with tones, black will go to white too, and white will go to black. Right, let's keep this up. Let's maybe get an example from the already multiple exposed image. Let's put that on there. Placement's quite an interesting thing. You may want to think about the different layers that you have. Yeah, there we go. That's better. And another good thing to do is to play around with filters too. Filters are particularly useful. In fact, let me just get this layer isolated so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Filters are good because you get all sorts of random effects. I quite like pixelate for things like this. Mosaic in particular is quite a useful one, and as you can see, we've kind of got already sort of like a kind of like error pixelated image. We're going to go for that. That's going to work quite nicely. So let's get these back on. You can see there we've got a little bit of pixelation already. Great. Quiet. You'll notice I'm using my move tool quite a lot. You'll notice that I am using transform quite a lot. That is not unusual at all. And similarly, I'm using my opacity too. One thing that you may want to do is you may want to increase or decrease like vibrance and saturation and things like that, because if things really are in a state of error, kind of want to make it to look that way as well. Let's maybe inverse this. Let's see what we get. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Let's maybe copy and paste that layer so I've got two versions of it. We've got another one here, and I may invert the colours on that so we've got more of a green. That's better. And then I can make this one a lot more see-through. Can see? There we go. Well, things are really starting to come together now. Randomly, let's now take everything that we've got, let's flatten it, let's increase the levels on it. Let us copy and paste it over. And then let us selectively remove little bits as well, so we have some quite nice imagery coming through underneath. All I'm doing is just hitting delete on my keyboard, quite literally just seeing what happens here. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but hey, never mind. Let's warp the corners a little bit like we did on a previous image too. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's merge these layers too. I want to keep that facial detail, I think. Don't think I like that actually. And another good thing that we can do, I haven't shown you layer masks before, so maybe here's a random opportunity to do that. Let's go to the layer mask option here, okay? And what this does is, this allows me to keep or remove detail if I was to use the brush tool, And if I was to use black, I would be able to remove DL from the image. And as you can see, if I hold down Alt and click on this little layer panel, this is the effect of what I've removed. And as you can see, if I was to hold down Shift and get rid of that layer mask, it is a non-destructive way of editing. I still have my original layer, which has worked out particularly well. In fact, I may actually just get rid of the brush tool. So instead of what you can just do using the brush tool, you can use a gradient instead, and we can fade from black to white. If I drag this gradient over, you'll see that on the layer mask, I have ended up with just this gradient here. And that is what is being deleted, and that is what is being kept from this top layer. And there you go, you can see the results below. Right, what I may do is like a final hurrah, is I might now flatten this image. And I may just Control A, Control C, Control V, Control T. May just move it up with a reduced opacity. I may also, I don't know if I've shown you this technique before, I may then go to curves, and instead of doing the RGB channels, I might just say do the red channel. And we'll see what results I get from that. Yeah. That looks decent. Right, and then might do the green channel and see what results I get from that. Okay, I then may flatten it again. I then may do exactly what I've just done, but then I'll do the blue channel on top. Oops. Go away. There we go. Things are getting really abstract and unusual now, I must say. Let's go back to curves. Let's go to the blue channel. Let's really up the blues. This particular layer. I've also just added another mosaic filter to that too, as you might have just seen there. And things are getting really trippy now. Let's have a look at some of my other glitch photography on the internet. Not colour wheels. Like this is kind of similar to things like this. Let's try and flatten things now. Do with a little bit more contrast. And maybe a little bit more saturation as well, so it gets really weird. Okay, I may opt to get some of my people-based images back in. Wow, that was a completely different example now. Goodness me. We've really gone off on a tangent, haven't we? Let's go back to the original thing here. Let's select the person and get me back in there. Kind of like that element to it. Not too fussed about the refine edge. Maybe get rid of that. This reminds me of like PlayStation 1 graphics, like kind of like Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, triangle sort of chest type graphics, if you know what I mean. Let's go maybe add another one of these. But we will play around with maybe some, like, the curves again. Let's try the different curve channels one more time. Right. That is a very glitchy image. Very glitchy indeed. I feel like that is in keeping with some of the stuff that we're seeing now. What kind of I felt that it was missing was maybe like a sort of like person element to it. And I feel like I've got that now. What I may do is I might pixelate the person behind it as well. Just by, if you didn't know, just Control and F will go to your last filter that you use. So in this case it was mosaic. And that should have mosaiced my image underneath there, which it has. All right. I wonder if I need one more of these guys. Let's maybe try it. Oh, that's interesting. Kind of get the original person behind that. Yeah, that works pretty well. Kind of like it. Like I say, guys, this has just been a total freestyle video. What can I say? I feel like this is a little bit more interesting to what I even came up with there. Yeah, definitely. I feel like I've really kind of complicated things now. So I guess if I was to sum up, you know, what I would do for a glitch image, the answer is, number one, don't play it safe. Don't be afraid of using kind of like different selection techniques, you know, going nuts on the color, doing different layers, sharpening things, blurring things out. Not refining edges is good. I particularly found the use of the curve channels pretty decent too. Copying and pasting things over and over again, particularly like error messages at the end. You know, when things are really going bad on your computer. Yeah, let's have them as merge layers as well. And I guess one big thing is just keep going with it. Like, I mean, you know, it's taken me the best part of like 10-15 minutes to get something kind of like really strange and really glitchy, really complex. I've used old images, pixelated images, new images, sharp images. I've combined bartending images with images of waterfalls. It is random, it is glitchy, it is crazy. I do not know how I can sum this up, but there you go. Feel free to just watch back the video, try and make sense of what I did there, and have a little play yourself. The best thing about this is it is just pure enjoyment and just a total blank canvas for you to mess around with. Okay, guys, I sincerely hope that you enjoy. All the best. Take care. Thank you.